Good evening and thank you for joining us. Back on Monday, a statewide plan was announced to get students back into the classroom, and today Governor Gavin Newsom signed that plan into law. The hope is that the bill will not only accelerate schools reopening, but also help students catch up on that material that they missed. 23BC's Bain Froney is joining us live from the Superintendent of Schools office in Central Bakersfield with a look at what these funds could mean for local school districts. Good evening, Bain.
That bill that the governor signed will provide over $6 billion to school districts. Of that, $2 billion will be going to helping providing support to staff and students while they're learning in person.
Let's get that $6.6 billion out into the district.
On Friday, Governor Gavin Newsom held a virtual signing ceremony for the legislative, which will grant $6.6 billion worth of funding to schools across the state of California.
Many more counties moving into less restrictive tiers. This is the right time to sign this bill. This is the right time to safely reopen for in-person instruction.
While Kern County is still in the most restrictive purple tier, the Superintendent of Schools office believes that this bill will help students and staff a lot.
The budget package that was signed into law today is very good news for schools because it provides essential funding that will allow them to open up in the safest manner possible as they continue their phased-in reopening plans.
The funding is broken up into two main pots. The first is for in-person instruction grants, which can help with personal protective equipment, and it totals to $2 billion statewide.
Basically, these are incentive grants to incentivize schools that have not already opened for in-person instruction to do so by the end of March based on a set number of criteria.
According to Robert Mazzaro's Kern County Superintendent of Schools office, of that $2 billion, about $65.5 million will go to Kern County school districts. The second pot of money will be divided up to all school districts throughout California, despite whether or not they open by the end of March. These funds will be used as expanded learning grants.
It's essential funding that will allow them to open up in the safest manner possible as they continue their phased-in reopening plans. It'll also be important for the mitigation of learning loss that we're seeing with the pandemic. Schools will use the funding to expand their academic programs and also those supports to ensure that the social emotional needs of students are being met.
Mazzaro says about $145.5 million will be granted to Kern County school districts of that $4.6 billion worth of expanded learning grants, which could fund things like summer school, tutoring, and special learning programs. It is also important to note that vaccinations for teachers are not required for an in-person learning return. In Bakersfield, Bain Froney, 23 ABC, connecting you.